Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. You're gonna have to excuse me today. I am getting over COVID, and it's taking a lot longer than I was hoping that it would. Turns out it's no joke. It's no joke. In any case, we're gonna push through because I want to start a new series. In terms of a monthly series where we take a look at stats from the previous month, see if there's any trends, see if there's anything that we can notice, and anything that we can kind of take from it to know what the streaming space is kind of trending towards. And so we're going to compare January 2023 versus previous years. And that's a particularly important comparison point because if you look through the historical record of Twitch, January tends to be a really, really good month for streaming, and it kind of dictates what's going to happen over the course of the rest of the year. So let's take a look at it. Let's first take a look at January 2023 stats. This is from Sully Gnome. You can see we had 1.86 billion hours watched. Now, that does seem like a lot of hours watched, and it is up 11% versus December. However, we would really like to have seen this number be bigger than that actually is, and I'll compare that to kind of show you why I say that. 1.86, not a great number overall. If you take a look at last year, this is January 2022, they had 2.16 billion hours watched. So we've lost about 15% of our viewership year over year as it relates to hours watched. At the same time, we have 2.5 million average viewers, whereas last year, 2.9 million. So that is a significant loss of total overall viewership, which means that the people who are still watching are just watching a little bit more than they used to. In 2023, the average number of channels that went live in January 2023 was 93,000, and they streamed 43,000 different games versus last year where there was 102,000 channels that were on average live and 41,000 games streamed. And then lastly, here's the important stat here. The viewer ratio in January 2023 was 27.44, which means that's how many viewers there are total per channels that were live. Last year, it was 28.61, so it is trending in the wrong direction. You do want this to be a higher number. When I say that this is not a great number, there's a couple other ways that we can visualize this here. We'll actually start here with Twitch Tracker, take a look at viewers, and then we pull up this little chart here, and we can kind of get rid of some of the previous numbers on there leading up to 2018, and we can see that here's 2022 and 2021, and they're all up at 2.9 million as our average viewership, whereas in January of this year, 2.49. A significant drop-off. Now, granted, it's not down to 2020 levels, but it is certainly lower, and as you can see here through the rest of the year, average viewership tends to kind of bleed out, or at least it has over the last couple of years. The only year that's somewhat different is 2020, which is pandemic year, and it had kind of a weird overall trend. So it's hard to look at that one and be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So let's get rid of it and look at 2018 and 2019, where 2018 you had some growth, 2019 you had a little bit of a bleed. If we go to watch time, it's going to tell us basically a very similar story. Here you are. Here's January 2021 at 2.1 billion. And there's January 2022 at 2.16 billion. And then the kind of the general bleed. There's 2021 that kind of went down over time. And 2022, which definitely went down. 2020, again, it's a weird story because of the pandemic. Let's get rid of it. And then we take a look at 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, where it's all kind of generally just flat. So 2023 being this far lower than it was in the previous 2 years, I'm going to say that so far, unless something changes, unless there is a massive recession and people are staying home again and wanting to watch, we're probably setting ourselves up for a year that's probably going to look something like this. And it may end up being that by the end of the year, we have significantly less viewership than we did now. Now, that's really important to know, and that's really important to kind of factor for and plan for as a content creator, because if you know that a large portion of viewership might not be here at the end of it, that means things like less overall money from subs, less overall money from bits, less overall opportunities from brands. The other thing that I want to point out here is that 2022 was the first year where there was more negative trend in viewership than there was positive. So if you take a look at this here, we have months that are green, which means that there was more viewership than the previous months, and then months that were red, which were less viewership than the previous month. So it's comparing month to month. And we're kind of getting into like economic things here, but I think it's kind of interesting regardless. And so you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months that were green, that had positive viewership versus previous months. That's the first time in a long time where it wasn't at least even or greater. So this is a negative trend. 7 months had less viewership than the previous month, okay? Let's compare that to last year, 2021. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months were green, 5 months were red. 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months green, 5 months red. 2019, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months green, 6 months red. So, and again, I can continue going back here. This is 2018, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months were green, 3 months were red. So this is the first time that there has been a general trend negative month over month on viewership numbers. Again, something to be aware of. Don't go running for the hills and be like, no, the streaming is dead, Twitch is over. That's not the case. It's just important to know that it does seem to be trending towards less viewership, and we are seeing that as well in terms of these overall numbers. So as a creator, what can you take from that? Well, I think that it makes a lot more sense to be focusing on things like YouTube, focusing on things like TikTok, making shorts. Obviously, with YouTube's new that just rolled out, you just now have access to monetization on shorts. I think that those things make sense. You have to go where audiences are going to find you when you are not live. And I know that this is just repeated advice that everybody says month over month, every single year. You see it on Twitter. You see it on streamer Twitter. You hear it from every talking head. Got to be on YouTube. I know. But the reality is that it's proving to be true. Now let's just take a look at a couple other stats here that I think are interesting. Most watched Twitch streamers, the top 10. Most watched games, again, the top 10. And let's take a look at who's making the most money. Here's the top 10 Twitch streamers for January 2023. XQC was number 1, still holding strong. Kings League, number 2. Gref G, number 3. I think a large portion of that viewership came from his event. He held a streamer award not too long ago. Wrote about it in my newsletter, 2s.gg, if you guys want to sign up for that. Or in play, Games Done Quick, Paulino Loco BR, Hassan Abi, Elspreen, Summit 1G, and Ebi making up the top 10. In terms of games, most watched games, we had Just Chatting. That is always a perennial number 1. It's just not going anywhere. League of Legends number 2. That was down slightly versus last month. Grand Theft Auto number 3. Valorant number 4. Escape from Tarkov number 5. That's down 14%. Obviously, the reset was last month, and so some of the interest is dying off now. Minecraft number 6, down 47%. That's a big drop-off. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, number 7. Fortnite, up 21%. Big for Fortnite, going into that 8th spot. FIFA 23 in the 9th. And Dota 2. And then, of course, number 12, Dead Space, which just came out with a new game. Obviously, they had very significant growth. Let's now take a look. This is from Stream Charts. And I guess again, I don't know how they collect this data. My assumption is that they have a bot that tracks every single time there's somebody who is cheers bits, and then it tracks that message and then adds it up. but it is kind of an interesting thing here to take a look at. This is for January of 2023. The top paid streamers on Twitch by bits. And our number one spot here is Shy Lily, fantastic VTuber, earning $25,454 from bits in January. And the reason why I want to track this, by the way, is because I think if we can see general trends in how many bits top streamers are earning or general streamers are earning, we can kind of, extrapolate whether or not, in similar fashion to looking at viewership, we can take a look at financial data and be like, oh, okay, things are trending upwards or downwards with time. Rita Glitch, 22.9 thousand. Memozoka, 21K. GP_TV, 17K. Fire Dancer, 15K. Kosif, 15K. I'm Probs, 15K. Vanessa Lopez Official, 15K. Jasmine Beck Music, 13.7K. Joe Bartolozzi, rounding out the top 10 at $13,000 earned in bits. So if we add up the top 10 overall, we get a number of $177,000 earned from bits from our top 10 highest paid streamers on Twitch by bits. We get $177,000. That's something that we can compare to next month and say, hey, is the number higher, is the number lower? And we can determine some generalized trends based upon that. Very, very generalized, nothing very specific, but I still think it's an interesting data point to consider. I want to thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you seen the dip in viewership from this time last year? And does it make you nervous? Is it changing your plans? Is it going to impact the way that you create? With that, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for putting up with my voice today. Hopefully I feel better so that you don't have to listen to me talk like this too much in the future. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.